Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Happy birthday, Sebastian. Happy 17th. If you missed our birthday live earlier, go back and watch after this recording. But the bite mark analyses are in. I have spoken to 4 different medical professionals and have received our answer. Don't go anywhere because you're about to hear it. The bite marks. If you're new to the case, we are talking about Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. He was reported missing at the age of 15. Today he is 17, and he was reported missing on February 26, 2024, last seen leaving the Texas Roadhouse with his mother in public on camera, February 25th, 2025, around 6:24 p.m. What occurred after that is we are reliant on mom's narrative, which is ever changing. So we do not have one timeline. We do not have one chain of events that occurred, and we do not know where Sebastian is, but we are not going to stop. We're going to bring him home. In one of the first interviews, the stepfather appeared with marks all over his arm. I'm sure TBI and Sumner County photographed, documented, tested those, but we were going to look into them too. And guess what? We here at Crime Time Buzz, I myself have, and I've asked for some medical professionals to weigh in based on bite mark size, dog bite marks, Yorkie mouse sizes, etc. And we have our answer. What you will see on our thumbnail is Sebastian's mouth, and that's important. Look at the rectangular shape of his teeth, his 2 front teeth being longer than the others in his mouth. That's imperative for what we're about to discuss. Now, the stepfather claims that he came home at 1:30 in the afternoon the day Sebastian was missing, and the Yorkies, who had not seen him in so long, were so excited that they jumped all over him. They wrestled on the ground, they rolled around, and his arms were just all torn up. I'm sure TBI and Sumner County have documented this as well, put it forth in front of professionals to get their theory on it, but we did as well because they're not sharing that, nor should they, but I'm sure they've done it. Are you? So let's look at this a little bit. So I did pass on a picture of both arms and also a picture of Sebastian's teeth, and then this photo that was sent to me with the teeth mark on the arm next to Sebastian's mouth. And here is what we have learned. We have learned, my friends, that according to professional opinion, I had 3 weigh in that these are human bites, in their opinion, and 1 person weighed in that the images just were not clear enough for them to be able to make a decision. So 3 out of the 4 looked at this and said that they believe they are human bite marks. Now, they explained to me the sizing difference between a dog's mouth and a child's mouth or a teen's mouth or a human's mouth, and that does play a lot of part of it. However, most importantly are the types of marks that a dog's mouth leaves. And that is what I am going to show you here. So these are Sebastian's teeth. They are quite rectangular here, as you can see. They're not sharp incisors like a dog would have, and they tend to match the 2 rectangular prints that set right here in the arm. We're not accusing anyone. We are analyzing, speculating, theorizing. There is so little being given from law enforcement, which they don't have to give us, but some information would be nice. I know, I'm sure, I hope they did this kind of documenting and investigating based on bite marks on a stepfather's arm. What do you think? Anyway, look at the rectangular shape of the teeth. Matching, which is pointed out to me right here. 2 very deep indents that are rectangular, 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 rectangular. Okay, little bit of an indent here, possibly from this tooth, and his bottom's here. Now, it is really important to notice that was pointed out to me is there is not tearing. There are not puncture wounds, like puncture holes, round puncture holes, and there is not tearing. The reason that is so important is if you look right here on this page, this is what a dog bite looks like. Dog bites have tearing here. See how it's torn? See the puncture wound here? See these punctures from a dog bite? Look at this. This is just torn skin. They don't just go in and bite like a kid would bite onto an apple and leave. They bite and they shake their head and they tear. That is not what is here. That is what is here in dog bites. This bite on the arm is not remnant. We don't see tears. We don't see incisor marks, just puncturing. We see rectangular marks that broke the skin. The major differences between dog and human bites are in their appearance, the bite marks. Human bites typically leave oval or semilunar marks with rectangular incisor impressions and triangular canine marks. I'll explain that. Triangular canine, they can be superficial abrasions or deep, often appearing in fights like fist hits, teeth, or abuse. So they can be deep if it's a human bite, depending on if someone's fighting for their life, right? But dogs will grab hold and shake their heads and tear that skin open usually. It's not usually a clean in and out, and if it is, they are round, and let me show you the why. Let me show you real quick. Because a dog has these sharp teeth like fangs, and that's what's gonna hit first. You're gonna see poke holes from those teeth, like here and here. Oops, sorry. And here. And see how this dog started to grab hold and tear. See the tearing marks? Now we want to go back here. The major difference between dog and human bites are in their appearance. Dog bites are characterized by long, deep puncture wounds from canines and straight incisor marks with a long, non-oval arch, often cause more significant tissue tearing and deeper trauma. And that's what you're seeing on the left. We don't see this on the stepfather CP's arm. But again, good investigators will have documented this arm, will have them in evidence, will have done the same thing we're doing here at Crime Time Buzz and spoken to individuals about what they see. They would have measured the bite marks in comparison to a small Yorkie or a 15-year-old male. A dog's front teeth do not make the same marks as a person's. They just don't. The marks can be distinguished by differences in tooth shape, arc form, and inner canine distance. The distance between the teeth and the bite, the overall arch, are very different. Now, the incisor shape, the feature. For human bite marks, you're going to see rectangular indentations, like here on the arm. Dog bite marks, you will see oval to rectangular, and often tear marks. What I want to make sure we see here is here's a little Yorkie's mouth. Look at the size of a Yorkie's mouth. That would be see these long teeth would be making these marks. This would come from a bite and then shaking and tearing. Same with here. Very different from what is on the arm here. See? Very different. These two front teeth are in my opinion, almost depicted perfectly. Even so much as the way they're set back, one set back a little bit. The people that I've spoken to believe these to be human bites on that arm. I did not tell them who the arm belonged to. I did not tell them who we thought possibly the bites belonged to. I asked them to analyze for me if these were bites or dog marks. Now, here are the bite marks. If you look at the size of a Yorkie's mouth, this range is larger than a small canine Yorkie's mouth. Here you will see, again, the teeth, the incisors that will make the puncture wounds. Here we see the rectangular teeth that could most likely, possibly, no one's accusing, make these rectangular spaces. And one being set and turned a little, one being set and turned a little bit does fit. The important thing is Stepfather said he was wrestling with the dogs. 3 out of 4, one said they were too blurry to make an opinion. 3 out of 4 stating those look like human bite marks because 1, there's no puncture wounds. 2, they are rectangular indentations and breaking of skin like a human tooth. 3, there is no tearing. And 4, the size of the arch of the mouth. Look at the difference between Sebastian's mouth, the size of the arch here, and Yorkie's mouth. And this is not a puppy Yorkie. Okay. Look at that difference of the arch, the span. I believe, my friends, that we have bite marks on those arms. Bite marks on those arms. And I'm praying investigators like TBI in Sumner County photographed his arms, took measurements, compared them to the mouth of those dogs versus Sebastian's dental records. That is what an investigation would do. I did not use his dental records because I'm not an investigator privy to his dental records. I also don't have access to the Proudfoot dogs. Law enforcement did and does. They should have done all of the above, taken photographs of the bites on his arms. When he says it was the dogs, they should have been measuring the dogs' mouths, taking photos of the dogs' mouths, and then also through Sebastian's dental records, matching those dental records to see if they matched with the bite on the arms. Do you have the confidence that was done? I did not, only because of the way the investigation has gone. And maybe it's just because they are silent human beings. I don't know. They don't want the public's help. I don't know. They don't want the marshal's help. I don't know. They don't want cold cases help, foundation's help. I don't know. But we did it ourselves. Look at the difference between the two. A Yorkie's mouth, Sebastian's mouth, those bites. And now we know we don't see puncture wounds and tears. These are reminiscent of a human bite. Did law enforcement measure and photograph CP's arms? Did they measure and photograph the Yorkie's mouth? Did they take the dental records of Sebastian? Because in my opinion, and those that I've spoken to, because I'm not professional medically, these are human bites. And I can't think of another human being who would have bitten him other than a child who is missing and he had a terrible relationship with. I'm not accusing, I'm making a suggestion, I'm making a theory. And law enforcement, I pray to God you have this investigative work, because those, my friends, are human bite marks. We're going to talk more about it later on our live tonight. Don't miss it. We're going to talk about a few things, several things, the state of the case, but most importantly, I want to end with this. Happy birthday, Sebastian. You've been gone 650 days. We will find you and bring you home. 2 birthdays missed, but we are going to bring you home, my friend. We are not going to let the clock run out till your 18th birthday, and the marshals cannot get involved then. Happy birthday, Sebastian. Everyone, those are human bite marks. They are not a small, tiny Yorkie's mouth. Not only size of mouth, the shape of the marks. Look where the match is. We don't have to be investigators to see that. All of you, join me later. I will talk to you soon. We're going to delve more into some of the evidence that should be had, alibis, those who have access to the house, and more. Happy birthday, Sebastian and Sebastian's Army. Thank you so much for joining me. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe so you do not miss tonight's live. And following tonight's live, we will be having a members only. Talk soon, my friends. In my opinion, and the opinion of 3 others with medical knowledge, these are human bite marks.